Hi there, everyone. Here we are again, myself, Anna Terranova, and today we have the happy ending.
The happy ending and prizes
And
it's
giveaways.
June 1st.
Exactly, right on June 1st. We nailed it right on June 1st.
Yes.
Planned it that whole way all year long.
Yep.
And
Exciting.
we are also going to talk about when does the spring market really end. And we've got amazing graphs for you. I'm so excited about the graphs.
She worked so hard. I can't wait to show it to you guys.
I know you guys are going to love the graphs.
Yes.
I'm going to put on comments so I can see everyone ooh and ah over the graphs.
Lots of comments on the graphs.
Lots of comments.
Put a lot of effort into those graphs.
Tons of love on the graphs.
But first, we're going to do a cocktail, the happy ending.
The happy ending. So we have a hurricane glass filled with ice. This is a super easy cocktail to do. And you can see that all of the ingredients are pretty basic. So it's going to be 2 ounces of vodka just over top of ice. Nothing too elaborate. No shaking, no stirring, nothing like that. And we're just using Absolute vodka today. There's a lot of great local products, though, so don't discount those. Then we're taking a little bit, just a 1/4 ounce of orange blossom. And I always love the smell of an orange blossom water.
And you can buy this at any liquor store? Any
liquor store, yeah, absolutely. And then you're going to do 4 ounces, sorry.
Make sure you measure out that soda. You don't want to weigh too much soda in your alcohol.
4 ounces of soda, but we ran out of soda and we're running out of room in the glass. And then you're going to do 2 splashes of cranberry juice. So just really light on cranberry juice. It's not too much. So and then you can stick your
vodka, we got soda, we got, what was that other thing?
The orange blossom water.
Orange blossom water.
Smell it.
Oh, it smells like a perfume.
It is so beautiful, the orange blossom water.
It reminds me of jasmine smell, actually.
It does. I love putting it into cocktails. And then for our garnish, we actually just took a little bit of rosemary and a little bit of orange rind, and we put them together. Then there we go, into our glass.
Wine glass here, ready.
And there we go. So this, see, it's a very light-looking drink. This is very much looking like a patio drink.
Yes, absolutely. And it's very pretty. I love that you wrap the orange around the rosemary. Wow, and it smells delicious.
All right,
cheers. Let's try this. Oh.
It's very light.
You definitely can taste that orange blossom liqueur.
I know, right?
It's what a great flavor. I wonder why it's called a happy endings.
Because it makes you happy at the end.
Oh, well, potentially, yeah. 2 ounces of vodka and you're like happy.
Yes, and it is a light drink. It's not overpowering at all.
No, it's not. I love it. If you like kind of like a floral taste and not sweet, this is a perfect drink. I actually really enjoy it.
Yeah.
Really good idea to invest into some orange blossom, by the way. Just really elevate that vodka soda cocktail.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really. And I think for juice, you can go either way. Like you can go with the cranberry.
Yeah.
You can do like that raspberry cocktail. So it's gonna be a little bit more pink even than the cranberry does.
And you could even try, like, if you wanted a little bit more citrusy, you could throw in a little bit more. You'd use orange juice, right?
Like with the smell of rosemary and orange peel and tasting that orange blossom, it's delightful. I like this one.
Well, Anna's happy, so everyone's happy.
I know we got our summer dresses on. The blossom is outside. We're having the blossom drinks.
Absolutely.
I can see why it's called the happy endings.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, but here's the big thing.
Big topic today.
And this comes on all the time.
Yes.
Everyone always asks us, when does the spring market end? When is the real end to the spring market? And obviously, that's a really hard thing to time because it's not exactly the same every year.
It's an opening day and everybody starts selling there. Okay, the doors are shutting down. Let's call.
Exactly. But so you've got to kind of time that. Now, I will say that I always tell my clients that if they're going to list their house in the spring market, to never list past May 1, because after May 1, it always seems to start winding down.
Are we not listing anymore?
No, we're still listing. We'll still list your house. But if you want to list it in the spring market, if that's your timing standpoint. And now the reason why that is because you have to look at what motivates markets, right? That's always, you got to think about what's the big thing. So the big thing in Calgary, obviously, is that where it's getting warm and people want to move when there's no snow on the ground. The other huge motivating factor is that a lot of times people want to put their house up for sale, sell it, and have it take possession in the end of June and July. So the kids have the entire summer to get comfortable in their new home. And believe it or not, statistically, July is the most possessioned month out of the year. So if you're looking at moving in July and you're needing a moving company, I will tell you, book well in advance because they are always busy.
Especially if it's a long weekend. I know I had a privilege of moving July alone once. And of course I called way too late and they're like, oh yeah, we've been booked for months.
Exactly. So July is a super busy month, and that's because that is when a lot of the driving force of what goes into selling your house over the spring market is happening. So let's look at the graphs because the graphs are, in my opinion, pretty exciting.
And you know what? I'm sure the graphs will be amazing. And one of the things, like, sometimes you hear us saying, oh, it's been an early spring market. Yeah. It has been a late spring market. This year we had an early spring market when it started in January. Exactly. Right? And it escalated really fast and we had a lot of activity. And now we're seeing a little bit of the down slope. But we're still in the spring market. Oh, actually, it's June 1st.
It's June 1st.
I keep forgetting it's June 1st.
It's June 1st. We're in June. All right. We're in June. So sorry, I did flip over to the graph and then I flipped back because I didn't want to interrupt you. So here is the graph. Now this graph is actually the number of sales that happened every single month from 2014 until 2022. Now what you see, which is actually kind of the cool thing about the graph, is you can see that they have that same kind of peak of when the sales volume goes up almost in every year except for the exception of 2014, but that was because there was economic factors. That's when the oil crashed and all that kind of stuff. But if you look, every other year, it's kind of that same kind of hump in the start of the year and that big, huge same front hump that is that spring market. And that usually kind of varies sometime between February till the end of July. And you can see what always kind of starts dipping down at that last month, June to July. Yeah,
June is definitely, we see the one that goes down. 2014 was a really weird year, actually, because we were very busy in the fall. The prices went up in the fall, and we actually bought this house here. Yeah, great time in that.
But you can see, so this statistically shows you on a graph of that front hump that comes all the time. And so that's kind of the interesting part about it, showing you that is always when that front hump comes. So really any time between February to June is kind of your best time. Your least amount of risk is usually between March and May. That would be more consistently when the market goes up. Sometimes it does go up a little bit earlier, but more consistently through March and May is when we see that.
Yeah, you can see how much higher we are this year. I mean, obviously you can see the graph is not finished. We had that huge peak right between like that February or March, which were like insane. I don't think we slept for those 2 months. Yeah. And you can see it quite dropped off, actually, quite dramatically. It didn't feel like dramatically to me. Maybe because we just, as a team, were a little bit more busier than the city. But wow, like look at that peak this year. That's why I said it was the early spring market.
Exactly. Now, one kind of cool thing about this, though, is that when you're talking about the spring market, when we see those statistics, we see those graphs, we see when that market goes up and down, and we establish statistically, not just based on gut, but statistically that your spring market generally can run from that February till June time. Now, that doesn't mean that every other month is a bad time to sell your house. Of course, every other month has its bonuses too. And we actually generally have two markets. And this is, again, always the other conversation. We have
I would say two busy markets.
Yeah, we have two peaks. I always call it two peaks. Yeah. And what's really interesting about this as well is because people always say, well, what's the worst month of the year to sell your house? And people a lot of times think it's December. No. And actually, it's not December. A lot of times I find our slowest month is August, which is also statistically the most vacation month out of the year.
Yep. I would say there's 2 weeks in July because the Stampede comes in town. Yeah. It's fairly slow. And the only people who are really shopping who are out of town and they're visiting Calgary for Stampede and buy a property at the same time. And yes, August, usually till like the third week of August, there is nothing happening.
Yeah, it's pretty quiet.
And then people come back from vacation and decide to buy a property really quick before the school starts.
Well, and that's exactly it. So I like to call the second peak, the fall peak, the luxury home market or the luxury market. So we have what we call as an essential market. And if it's surrounding children and time of year and weather, then that's an essential market. But you can see in the fall, if you look, kind of that September to November area, that's that fall peak that we see. And that fall peak is what I like to joke around is a luxury market because that's that market where you're trying to buy and sell before Christmas, before the snow flies. And that's when you're kind of in there and you don't have to do it. And if the markets aren't in your favor or the economy's not in your favor, then you're actually going to be willing to wait until the next spring because you don't have to sell.